Okay, now you might think that everything is great, but when I look at this, I see it looks pretty good at 960. It looks pretty good at 768. But when it comes to 480, these columns are getting way too thin and too small, and things are looking cramped. So, wouldn't it be better if we made this column wider, and then put this one underneath? Let's do that. The way we're going to do this is change the fluid settings. Okay, so we're going to look at our Dreamweaver, and we are going to see that we have a left bar, a section, and a right bar. This would be fluid 3 because we know that there are 3 columns. This is fluid 6, we know it's 6 columns, and right bar is 3. So we want to change this maybe to 4, this to 8, because 4 plus 8 is 12. Remember, it all has to equal 12. Right now it's 3 plus 6 plus 3, so that equals to 12. But this time we're going to change this fluid to 4, this to 8, and then we're going to change the right bar to 8. Now the way we're going to do this is we're going to go back to Moose Loose, and under Responsive Fluid Wizard, there is a page called Fluid Column Changer, or Fluid Col Changer, and it looks like this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to change subdivision, the first subdivision, to left bar. So I'm just going to copy that, paste it here. Then the second portion is going to be section. And then the next one is going to be right bar. So now we have the 3 divs across that we want to affect. Right now we know that left bar is 3, but we want to change it to 4. Section, we know it is currently 6, but we want to change it to 8. And right now we know right bar is 3, but we want to change it to 8 as well. Okay, so left bar is 3 to 4, section is 6 to 8, and right bar is from 3 to 8. Because the right bar is going to be as wide as the section when it gets to 480. And we don't have, these usually aren't useful because usually you don't have 6 divs across. So let's get the code. And we can see that container left bar is now going to go from 3 to 4. Section is going to go from 6 to 8. And right bar is going to go from 3 to 8. And so that changes the percentages of how wide they are. So believe me, just copy this, go back to Dreamweaver, and under the media, because this has to do with the changing of the devices, go to 480, and I'm just going to paste it at the bottom. So if we did this right, those columns are going to change. Let's test it out. Let's test this out. Let's see. I'm going to move the media. To CSS. The CSS right here. And now, when we go back to our site and refresh, because remember, CSS is cached. Here it is. 960. 768, and at 480 the columns change. All of a sudden the left bar is no longer 3, it is now 4, and this is no longer 6, it goes all the way across to 8. So basically, we at media screen 480, we changed it to 2 columns, and then the right bar shows up underneath, and it also is eight columns across. So it makes it a little bit easier to read. It's a little bit wider. And then at the phone it goes back to all one. Okay. So that is how, using that tool, you can change the placement and the width of the columns even as the devices change. 3 columns, 3 columns, 2 columns. Simply because, let's go back and take a look. What it did, and it tells you 3 columns to 4, it just changed the percentages. So this is 2/3 across now. Section is now 2/3 across, and the column in the left bar is 1/3. And generally speaking, the right bar, right now it's fitting okay, but generally what you want to do here is put a float right. That way we're assured that when it goes underneath the section, it will float right. And so if we save that and move up the media, we shouldn't see any difference, but that's only because the way the text lines up. But by floating it right, we're sure that it's going to show up underneath. So what we see here is the left bar. We see the section. See how it ends with that little plus sign. This is the feature image, and this is the left bar content. So we could probably go back here and increase the size of the calendar. So let's go back, go to our media screen, go to 480, which is here, go back up to the calendar, and right now we have the calendar at 8 points. We could probably put it back up to 12 because now we have lots of room. Calendar 12 and calendar wrap 12, and we could probably even move it over some. We could do a margin left, let's say, I don't know, 30 pixels. Because now we have more space for all of that to work. So let's move up to Media CSS, refresh our page, and now our calendar is bigger. So you can see it shrinks. Well, I guess it doesn't, but there it could. Okay, so there it is. That is just about all you need to know. Now let's say, no, let's not say it. That's probably all we need right there. Of course, we can now go, since we have it all set up, we can go to our appearance and our menu. Right now I have 3 welcomes, but I can remove those welcomes, those extra welcomes, and save my menu. We can go to pages, add a new page. We'll call it good job, because you did do a good job. And put in some text here. We can set a featured image. Let's set a featured image. We'll set this one as the featured image. Okay, we'll publish it. We'll go to our menus just to make sure it actually made it onto the menu. Good job. Let's move it over here. We can move it all over the place. There, let's move good job after welcome. Hit save menu. Let's look to see if good job appears. Good job appears on the page, on the button bar. Good job has its featured image here. It responds. and it also shows up in the button bar. So that is how you can add pages. We could probably go and change the colors of the drop down here. Let's change those. Let's change these to that yellow and black. Let's go here to our, remember that's a general color, so the general colors go in styles. We'll go down to the moose wrap style. Here's moose wrap. Here's a functionality which we will avoid. We'll go down to the moose wrap style, begin style. Now the ULs are generally the drop downs. So where we look for, okay, where is it? Here's the blue. Let's see. What are they? They are currently this dark blue. So let's look for that dark blue. It's right here. The menu UL. This is the visited. Let's turn it to that hover color, that orange. So let's leave this is blue. As you can see, if you go back to your assets and your colors, you can see 009 right here. That's that dark blue. We're going to change it to that yellow. The visited will be that yellow, and the hover will keep black. So let's update style Z CSS. Let's move that up here. Let's reload and make sure our drop downs are the colors that we desire. And they are. Now, let's style something else. Let's style this, because we will want this to conform to our theme. I think right now it's blue. We don't want blue. We want that some other color. Let's go back to Dreamweaver. Let's go to Style ZZZ, Style Z CSS, and you can see that it begins to explain. Okay, background of right side when your menu is open. When you click on this, when the menu is open, you get this grayish side over here. This is the right side. So we can change the color of what shows up when the right side, when the menu is open. Right now it's E. Let's change it to that terrible color, just so you can see. Okay, so now when the menu opens up, what's on the right will be that color. Let's move it over. Let's go refresh. So now it's going to be that color. So we have that confirmation, the same color scheme going on. Okay, so that's how you change that. Then you can go down, background of left large menu. So right now it's black. You can see when it opens up, it's black. But we can change that color as well. Okay, let's change it to, let's just change it to red, just so you can see how that changes. Okay, of course you have to save it and move styles Z up. Now when we look at it, refresh, of course, it's going to be red. Whoa! So actually I like the black. So let's go back, and now that we see we can change that as well, let's change it back to black. This is just a line between the navs. So when you, the lines in between, that's where you can adjust that. Okay, that's the HR between. The rest state of the large nav, right now it is gray. Well, it's not now. Let me save this and move it up. Let's go back to our black background. Because that's pretty obnoxious. Okay. So in the rest state, these letters are grayish. When you mouse over them, Okay, see they're gray. They're gray. When you mouse over them, they turn a little bit darker or lighter one way or the other. But you can see we can change that as well. Let's make them totally white. And when I mouse over, the text will be gray. See, so now they're whiter. Okay, let's see what else is on there. So that's the hover state on the large nav. The background of active button, right now it's that blue. It's that 336699. Let's make it that other color that. So let's see. Background of active button on left bar. So the background color is blue now. And I have a tile. Let's get rid of that. Let's move it up. So now the active button. See how it turned yellow when it was active? Okay, that might be too much, but at least you can see how it works. Now, when we go here, you'll see this blue up here that indicates that you can go back. We can change that. You go down here. Okay, let's see. Background arrow indicating there's nope. Left border nope. Top button to close menu. Right now it's blue. Let's change it to that yellow. We'll move that one up. So now that button at the top, when we move over, it's now conforming to our color scheme. It indicates that you can go back. Okay. And then when you click on here, so it now is really taking shape. Okay, maybe we can figure out how to change the search button from blue to another color scheme. Where do you suppose that would be? I would bet that is in the style. It's probably in the WordPress because that's a WordPress button. Okay, let's see if we can find the search button, widget title, calendar, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's look for the blue. Okay, right here. The search submit button is currently blue. You can tell because you can go back over here to the colors. And let's see, maybe we should make it, let's make it a little bit gray. Let's make it gray. Okay, so the background color is going to be gray. The text on it is going to be white. And it looks like we have a image. Let's just delete that. Okay, and then the search, when you hover over it, it's black. But we can make it that orange color again, just so you can see. So we'll go to styles and copy that color. You'd think that it would be over here. If we refreshed it, we should see that the yellow as a part of our, oh, here it is. So there's our yellow. Let's copy that. A29 CC AC 29, because you see the color right over there. So it means that when we hover over it, it will be that yellow. But I'm thinking to move them all over, since we probably. So now our search is gray, and when we mouse over it, I think I like it better black. So let's go back. And the submit button is now gray. I think I'm going to turn it back to black. And when we mouse over it, that looks pretty good with the white text on that yellow. So let's save that. And move it over. And let's refresh. Okay. Now we have a consistent color scheme. Okay. It might be too much padding. At 480, there might be too much padding on the widget title. So let's go fix that. Let's go back to media because that's where it all happens. At 480, our widget title has a padding of 8 at the top. And it's probably too much. So let's change it to 5. Okay, and let's move that over to media. There, that's a little bit better. It's a little bit better. Okay, well, that's basically all there is. Maybe we should get rid of this content for nested, but you know the drill there. You just go to your DWT and we'll put website. We can do this. Let's do this. This will be more fun. If we go back to Moose Loose and go under miscellaneous, PHP, and various helpful PHP, and you go way down to the bottom. I think it's the last code. Yes, right here you have this ongoing copyright notice. You copy that, copy it, and you put it down in the footer here. Whoa, I took out of the thing. Okay, you paste that code in there. We can do copyright 2015. This will supply the year at mooseloose.com. Okay, I'm going to save that. Update it. Yes. And then I can move up the index. And then when we view our page, we will see there's now a copyright notice from 2015. And when it turns to 2016, that PHP code will update automatically because it finds a date on the server. And maybe we'll go here, close, and maybe for, well, that'll be fine. We could put a center tag in here. And down here. Once we save this, it'll go update the index. Done. We'll move the index up. Move it into center. So that'll appear on every single page. And it will be updated. Okay, very good. We'll just go ahead and take this portion off. Yeah, let's say we did it in 2010. And we'll move that up. Yeah, so now it's copyright from 2010 to 2015. And as time goes on, it will update. Next year it'll say 2016 automatically. You don't have to worry about going back and changing that. Well, that basically concludes how to take the Moose Loose Deluxe theme and turn it into a WordPress theme. Now, for the most part, this is sort of squarish looking, but as long as you conform to the grid, you can make whatever interface you want. It will, it doesn't have to look this boxy. I made it boxy on purpose so that you could see how it all fits together, but you can make it so it's not so boxy. You can conform to the grid without making it look so that way. Okay, well, there it is.